Hello, welcome to Movie City Recap Channel. Today's movie is Joe Versus the Volcano. It's a 1990 romantic comedy. The film starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, who make a famous duo in Hollywood movies. The movie is about a man named Joe Banks, who is working a boring routine job in a dreary factory for a demanding boss. He has no joy and no passion in his life. Banks regularly visits doctors, as he always feels sickness and joyless, but the doctors always find nothing wrong with him. One day, he visits Dr. Ellison, who tells him that he has a disease called brain cloud that will kill him in 6 months, and this disease has no symptoms. Joe realizes that he has wasted his life. The doctor told him to try to enjoy the rest of his life. Joe decides to live out the rest of his life with a sense of adventure and passion. He decides to quit his job. Then he asks his former coworker Dee Dee out on a date.
Yeah.
How about dinner tonight?
When Joe tells Dee Dee that he is dying, she tells him she cannot deal with this and leaves. One day, Joe visited by a man named Grainamore, who introduces himself as the chief executive officer of an industrial conglomerate. Grainamore needs bubaru, a mineral essential for manufacturing superconductors. There are deposits of it on a little Pacific island of Waponi. But there is a problem, which is about the resident Waponis who will only let him mine it if he solves their problem. There is a volcano in their island, and they believe that the fire god of the volcano must be conciliated by a voluntary human sacrifice once every century, and no one of the island's citizens willing to volunteer this time. Grainamore explains that he's heard of Joe's condition and offers him a proposal. If Joe is willing to jump into a volcano, he will offer him $1 million to live his remaining days in comfort. Joe spends a day on the town in New York City. He demands advice from his chauffeur to know how to live his life and enjoy it perfectly.
Coming into focus, kid.
Damn.
You're gonna be all right.
Joe then flies to Los Angeles. He met there by one of Grainamore's daughters, Angelica, who was a socially extroverted, careless girl.
Told me to tell you that I don't know. I'm a flibberted. So what did you do before you signed? There's a painting. Or the emptiness of my hands.
After meeting together, she told him that he has been living his life like a walking corpse, barely alive. She takes Joe to her father's yacht, and there he introduced to Patricia, her half-sister and the captain of the yacht. Patricia agreed to take Joe to Waponi, as her father promised to give her the yacht in return.
You're in a rotten mood. Can you believe it? Dad said not to tell you.
Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Let's continue. After an embrace starting, Joe and Patricia start to bond. During their journey to the island,
I'm in the little stateroom. Good night.
they faced a tropical storm.
Out.
She lost her awareness and thrown overboard. Joe bounces to recuse her, then a lightning strikes, leading the yacht sink. Then Joe constructed a floating board using the yacht damaged parts. Patricia's still unconscious for a few days. Joe gives out the little stock of pure water to her, while he becomes bit by bit incoherent from thirst. Finally, Patricia wakes up. She is touched in heart by Joe's self-sacrifice to save her life.
No sign of Dag.
Meanwhile, they drifted to the island. The Waponis treat them to a grand feast. Their king, Toby, asks them if anyone else will volunteer and jump in the volcano, but no one is ready. Then Joe heads to the volcano. At the same time, Patricia wants to stop him, declaring her love for him. He confessed his love for her too.
I love you!
Patricia told Joe to ask the king lets them getting married. Later, Patricia refuses to leave Joe, who wasn't unable to prevent her. They jump together. In the same time, the volcano burst, blowing them out into the ocean. The island sinks. They are blissful about their miraculous salvation. Then Joe tells Patricia about fatal disease.
Brain cloud.
As she heard Joe's doctor name, she told Joe that he is her father friend and realizes that Joe was deceived, as Joe is not dying and it was a big lie from her father and Dr. Ellison. Now, they can continue their life happily together. The movie ends giving us a message that life is a journey that we must all go through and that we have to live life to the fullest and discover what makes us happy, as the adventure of living is more important than the final destination. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it and subscribe.